Hi everyone, thank you so much for clicking on my channel. It's been a very long time since I've sat down and filmed something, so if you're just coming across my channel, my name is Abbey Lynn and I am a stay-at-home mom but also a self-taught makeup artist, and I'm currently 4 months pregnant. So the first trimester for me when I'm pregnant is always pretty rough. I don't have a lot of energy. I usually have a lot of morning sickness, so that is why I haven't been very active with filming. For those of you that are subscribed to my channel and have been following along with my process, thank you so much for just being patient and understanding that I just needed a break. So welcome back. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. But let's go ahead and kick off this Foundation Fridays series. For this new Foundation Fridays series, I wanted to do something that was very highly requested of me. I've had a lot of people ask me to review and demo foundations from multi-level marketing businesses. So that would be like Mary Kay, Senegence, Arbonne, Unique. I've had so many requests and so many people ask if I would try out these products, so I thought I would just do a Foundation Friday series. For today's foundation, I have the Arbonne Perfecting Liquid Foundation. This has an SPF of 15. The packaging looks like this. It comes in a plastic bottle. What I do like about this packaging is that it's designed to give you every last drop of the foundation, because as you pump it out, and yes, it does have a lovely pump, as you pump it out, the mechanism here pushes the foundation upward, so you do get every last bit of your product, which is super nice. This bottle is 1 fluid ounce, so it's a standard sized foundation, and it retails for $44. On the box it says it's a multitasking liquid foundation with skin firming properties to help lift the appearance of facial contours and help smooth and even skin tone while providing sun protection. So I'm looking at their website and they do have 15 colors in their shade range, which isn't a very big color range, but it does seem to go pretty light and it does seem to go pretty deep. There's a little bit more of a description online. It says it's smooth as satin. Our dreamy foundation protects, moisturizes, and creates the look of firmer skin, minimizes the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles while providing medium to full coverage. So this foundation does have anti-aging ingredients in it. Its features are that it creates a naturally radiant complexion with moderate to full coverage, satin-like formula, glides on and blends easily, diminishes the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, and it has a broad spectrum of SPF 15. As far as I can tell, this doesn't have any claims anywhere about how long wearing it's supposed to be, so I'm just going to assume that it's an 8-hour foundation. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different for this foundation series and see if I like it and whether or not I'm going to continue it into more Foundation Friday series. But instead of just wearing the foundation for one day to test whether or not I like it, I'm going to try to wear it over 2 or 3 days and try to use it with like different primers, maybe different powders, different setting sprays, just to see if I can get the most out of the foundation. Because in real life, that's what I would do. If I put on a foundation and it just didn't wear quite right or I didn't like it, the next time I wore it, I would try it with maybe a different primer or a different powder or a different concealer and just see if maybe it's the products that I pair with it. So I feel like it's going to give a much more accurate view of the foundation that I'm testing out, and I really want to give you guys the best information that I can to help you make a more informed decision about products that I am sharing with you guys and whether or not you want to look into purchasing a foundation that I'm reviewing. So rather than checking in with you guys throughout the day, I'm just going to check in with you in the morning when I put the foundation on, and then at the end of the day when I'm getting ready to take the foundation off, and let you know how it's worn throughout the day. And I'll do that over 2 or 3 days. And I'm hoping that's going to kind of be a more accurate way to test the foundation. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that in the comments section below. Would you rather me just do 1 day and check in throughout the day, or would you rather me do it over 2 or 3 days and kind of see how it's worn with different combinations of primers, setting powders, etc. I'm going to stop yapping now. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. My skin is already clean and prepped. If you're ever wondering what products I use for that, I'll have everything listed down below in the description box, so be sure to check that out. Right now it is 10:42 As I'm getting started here, give it a shake. I don't see anything on the box or on the website that indicates how much product I should use. So I'm gonna start with 2 pumps. By the way, I have the color Porcelain, and I like how it kind of has a more yellow undertone to it. I kind of feel like with my skin tone I can go either way, yellow or pink, but lately I've been really feeling the yellow undertones. So hopefully this will be a good match. It is kind of liquidy. It's running down the back of my hand a little bit. Not too fast, but it's not super thick either. I don't really know how much I need, so I'm just gonna kind of go in here. My sponge is a little extra damp right now, and that's because in the winter, I just feel like my skin needs that extra moisture when I'm applying makeup. So I do like to have kind of like an extra damp sponge. So I like the color. I think it's a good match for me. It's blending really easily. I'm not having any problems blending it out. It does seem to be drying down. It hasn't dried down completely yet, but it wasn't like drying down super fast to where it was hard to blend. It was definitely easy to blend, but it is kind of drying down a little bit. As far as the coverage, it's definitely more of a medium coverage as opposed to a full coverage. It's possible that you could probably build this one up, but I'm happy with a medium coverage, and I don't want to go in with too thick or heavy of a layer because I don't want it to cake up if I put too much on. On their website it does say that it will provide medium to full coverage. I'm happy with the medium coverage. It also says that it's supposed to be a satin finish, but I definitely think it is more of a matte finish. Like, it's pretty matte. It's definitely dried down and has kind of like a powdery finish. It doesn't look satin at all to me. I'm also noticing that it's already settling a little bit in my expression lines, not my smile lines, but right here between my brows. See if I can kind of smooth that out. Hopefully when I kind of go over that with some concealer and set it with powder, it will smooth out. It's supposed to diminish the appearance of fine lines. I don't know if that means over time because of the anti-aging ingredients, but I would definitely say that it doesn't necessarily smooth out my fine lines since it is settling there a little bit. Because of the way that it is drying down to more of a powdered finish, I think that if you had dry skin, you probably wouldn't like this one as much. But normal to combo to oily would probably like this one. So far it's looking pretty good. I don't really have any complaints, so I'm gonna go finish the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. So it is now 11:38. So I finished putting the foundation on at about 10:50. So it's been about 40 minutes now that I've had the foundation on. Everything blended over it really nicely. I didn't set my whole face with powder because I didn't feel like I needed to, since everything kind of dried down to a powdery finish. I only set the center of my face and under my eyes where I put concealer, and my bronzer, blush, highlighter, all of that blended over it really nicely. I kind of did the most in terms of highlighter today. I used a really reflective metallic highlighter. I'm not really used to wearing a matte foundation. A year ago I was really into matte foundations. More recently I haven't really been into matte foundations. I just think that they can emphasize my fine lines and kind of make me look a little bit older and drier. So as far as personal preference, I definitely prefer something more satin or luminous as opposed to a completely matte foundation. But I certainly don't dislike this foundation. Right after I applied the concealer and the powder and everything, I was thinking that it looked just a little bit heavy, especially in the center of my forehead and kind of around my nose and my mouth area. But as the foundation has warmed up to my skin, I feel like it's smoothing out a little bit more. It is a little bit settled into my fine lines between my brows and on my forehead, but it is not settling into my smile lines. So that's good. So far everything is looking really nice. So I will check in with you guys before I go to bed tonight and let you know how it has worn throughout the day. So right now it is 8:40 p.m. I've had this foundation on for 10 hours now, so I'm ready to take it off. I feel like this foundation looked good up until the 8-hour mark, but in the last 2 hours is when it's really started to kind of fall apart for me. I did turn my lights down a little bit, so hopefully you can see it has gotten pretty cakey around my nose. My chin has started to get cakey and break apart a little bit. It has settled into all of my fine lines. It's rubbed off a little bit here, but this foundation has really controlled my oils. Like, I typically get a pretty oily T-zone, and pretty much none of my oil has broken through this foundation. So if you have oily skin, I think that you might like this one, but I think that because it is so matte and does such a good job of controlling the oils, it's just a little drying. Tomorrow I'm going to try this foundation with a more illuminating primer and see how that goes. But as far as today, it controlled my oils really well, but it was kind of drying and did look kind of powdery throughout the day. So I will see you in the morning. Good morning, it is day 2. I've already prepped my skin. I did use a more illuminating primer today, which I will have listed down below. So I'm getting ready to put my foundation on. I don't have any eyebrows on yet. That's why I look a little crazy. I think I'm also going to use a little bit less foundation today. I'm going to go in with like a 1.5 pumps as opposed to the 2 full pumps that I used yesterday. We'll see how that goes. So at first glance, I'm glad that I went in with a little less foundation today than yesterday. I'm not sure whether or not the illuminating primer helped with how matte it is. Maybe just a little bit, like on the very high points of my face. But I still do not agree with the claim at all that it is a natural satin finish or that it's supposed to be radiant. I do remember now reading on their website that it was supposed to be more radiant. Not at all, no. So far it's not settling into any of my fine lines. I am going to use a different concealer today as well, something a little bit more hydrating. So I'm going to jump off camera, finish the rest of my makeup, and I'll be right back. Okay, I don't know if I showed the time earlier. Like, somehow I think I might have forgotten that, but it's 9:18 right now. I finished putting my foundation on about 20 minutes ago, so right around 9 o'clock. Right now everything is looking really good. It's looking much better than yesterday. It's not looking as dry. It's not settling into my fine lines. Overall, I'm just really happy with the way it looks today. It's still very matte, but I've been piling on the highlight and a more hydrating base and setting spray. I think it's going to help with this foundation for sure. So I will check in with you guys tonight after I wear this all day and let you know how it wore throughout the day. It is now 5:18 p.m. I've had this foundation on for 8 hours. That's about as far as I can go with it today. It is starting to break down and I have plans tonight. I'm going out, so I'm going to take this off and put something else on, but yesterday it had really started to cake up and break down around my nose, but I had put concealer in that area yesterday, so today I made sure that I did not put any concealer around my nose, and it still is like completely broken down, completely cakey around my nose. I'm not even sure if you can see it. Let me turn this light down a little bit. Sometimes the lights like prevent you from really seeing what's going on. I just think that it's starting to really cake up around my upper lip too. I just think this foundation doesn't look the best on me. That doesn't mean that I don't like it. I'm gonna turn the lights back up here. That doesn't necessarily mean that I don't like it. This just isn't the best foundation for me. I do think that it has really controlled my oils that typically come through on my T-zone. So this might be a really good option for somebody with oily skin. I have combination skin, so if you had really oily skin and it's very persistent and you have a hard time finding a foundation that does a good job controlling those oils, this one might be a good one for you, as long as you don't have like dry patches. Sometimes when you have oily skin, you can also have kind of dehydrated skin, and it can have dry patches. So as long as you don't have any of those dry patches, because I do think this foundation clings to any dry areas. If you have normal to dry skin, I would definitely stay away from this foundation. I don't think it will look good. And two, I just feel like this foundation settles into my fine lines. And I think that since I'm just not used to wearing really matte foundations, I just have felt all day, today and yesterday, that I just kind of looked older. And I think it's just the way that matte foundations kind of lay on my skin. And I'm 30 years old, so, you know, if you're 22 and you have oily skin, this foundation might look fantastic on you, but for me personally, it just doesn't really do it for me. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Have you tried this foundation? Does it work for you? Does it not work for you? What are your thoughts? Are you like over 30 and have you found that foundations that you used to like suddenly don't work for you anymore? Because like I said, I used to love matte foundations, but I just feel like they make me look very dry and old. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. If you are subscribed, find the little bell and click on that so that you'll get a notification every single time I upload. And be sure to check in again next week because I will have another Foundation Friday video going up. And as always, I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.